Hello, my name is Mark, and I see the fuzzies, also known as visual snow. Now, I bet you're wondering what visual snow might have to do with autism, and it'll become clearer the further I go on. I don't know it actually is associated with autism, but it might get people to think in a different way. Visual snow happens because the eyeball has too much pressure in it. That happens because the blood can't flow through easy enough. And the white blood cells drag on the inside of the smallest veins of the eyeball. That causes back pressure, and the red blood cells pile up behind it, and that causes the eye to distend. And because of that, it creates a huge amount of static and sends it to the visual cortex, depending on how severe you are. I'm extremely severe, and I see static with my eyes open and closed. Because of the static, I have severe central sleep apnea. I've averaged 6 hours of sleep per week my entire life. Now, I've been able to get down to a minimal amount of visual snow with my eyes closed, and I've been able to eliminate my severe central sleep apnea. I had 2/3 central, 1/3 obstructive, and I would average 6 hours of sleep per week. Now I'm getting 6 hours a night. The second part of that is ADHD, which I don't have. I have hypertension disorder because I'm not deficit in ability to pay attention. And it caused the second and third thought process to be developed in my brain. So someone with autism, if they see static, might have 4 or 5 thought processes, which would be extremely bad because you're seeing static all the time, and then you're having your primary thought process with what you read and write and speak with, and your secondary thought process for me, which just rambles on a song that you've heard that you don't like over and over and over again for weeks at a time. And when you're getting, Friday night, you're getting 3 hours of sleep, Saturday, maybe 1, Sunday, 0, and going 1 to 2 weeks without sleep periodically, you can see why this would make you anxious. And the need to constantly be doing something. I walk 8 miles a day, and before I used to have to constantly be working on something. I'd be able to watch TV and work on a project at the same time. The third part about this is dyslexia. I'm a severe dyslexic, and that's because of the static. In second grade, I couldn't tell the difference between a T or an F, and I spent 7 years in special ed. And that was related as well to photophobia. One thing you might want to try is look at a computer in dark mode on Mac OS X. And if you look at my website, you'll see a similar color flow, which is mid to dark grays, but it has a pattern added to it, so it helps the static disappear. A lot of my early work in photography had a high amount of detail. So this gives you some ideas, and it may be related, it may not, but it might make you think to ask questions that you don't normally think to ask. I used to have the ability to think about 3 things at the exact same time, and I could focus on a conference call and think about 2 other things if I concentrated that were completely different from each other. So if most people don't think to ask a question, can you think about more than 2 things or more than 1? So this will give you an idea of this at least gives you a place to possibly go and ask questions, think about this in a different manner. I hope this helps. Thank you. Zappe, zappe!
This has been a Poofy Hair production.